There's a language the powerful speak without saying a word. You walk past it every day and never notice. Some people think power is about being the loudest in the room. That wealth means flashing what you've got. That influence comes from showing up everywhere. These people spend their entire lives playing a game they'll never win. Because the real game doesn't happen where everyone's watching. It happens in silence. In the moves that weren't made. In the words that stayed unsaid. While you're busy proving what you have, someone's studying what you're hiding. And that person already owns you. The market isn't a gladiator arena. It's a chessboard played by people who understand that every move communicates something. Every pause, every hesitation, every decision you postpone reveals more about you than any pitch deck ever could. There's subtext in everything. In how someone structures a deal, in the timing of an offer, in what's deliberately left out of the contract. That subtext is the real battlefield, and most people don't even know it exists. Ancient military strategists understood this perfectly. They didn't win just with numbers or weapons. They won because they read the terrain, read the enemy, read the moment, and most importantly, they read what the enemy thought was hidden. This deep reading doesn't come from surface-level intelligence. It comes from something rarer. It comes from emotional discipline, from being able to observe without reacting, from being able to wait without anxiety, from being able to silence your own ego long enough to detect someone else's. Ever notice how the most powerful people in a room are rarely the ones talking the most? That's not accidental. That's tactical. While everyone's competing for attention, they're competing for information. And information doesn't come from those who speak. It comes from those who listen with intent, from those who ask the questions nobody else thought to ask, from those who spot the pattern before it completes. That's not luck. That's reading context. That's understanding that everything is language, even silence. If this resonates, subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Why real money doesn't look like money. Here's an uncomfortable truth. If you need to prove you have power, you don't. Real power doesn't announce itself. It gets recognized. And the harder someone tries to convince you they're powerful, the weaker they probably are. Because anyone who truly understands the game knows that display is vulnerability. It's painting a target on your back. It's giving away intelligence for free to anyone trained to observe. There's a brutal difference between wealth and the appearance of wealth, between influence and the performance of influence, between control and the illusion of control. Most people confuse all three, and that's why they stay stuck in the same position. They think the game is about impressing others, about showing off, about validation. But the actual game is about accumulating silent advantage, about building positions nobody sees until it's too late to counter. Ancient warriors had a principle: win before you fight. That didn't mean being stronger. It meant positioning yourself so advantageously that the fight became unnecessary. And how do you reach that position? By not being seen while you move. By not revealing intentions while executing them. By not wasting energy on theater while your competitors perform. You let them shine. Let them consume all the attention. Meanwhile, you consume the market. Capital isn't status. Capital is leverage. It's the tool that gives you options when everyone else is out of moves. It's what allows you to wait when everyone else is desperate. It's what turns you into a buyer when everyone else became a seller. But most people treat money like a trophy, like a medal, like proof of worth. And in doing so, they lose the real power that money offers. Because power isn't in what you spend. It's in what you can do without spending. Drop a comment if this has clicked for you at any point. How elites think differently about control. There's a pattern that repeats at every level of power. Whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. But here's the trick. Controlling the narrative isn't about talking louder. It's about letting others talk. About asking the right questions. About creating the environment where people reveal more than they intended. It's about being the silence that forces the other person to fill the void. And in that filling, they give away everything. Negotiations aren't won at the table. They're won before they start. When you've already mapped what the other person wants, what they fear, what they can't afford to reveal. While someone's thinking about what they're going to say, you should already know what they're going to hide. Because what someone omits is always more important than what they declare. And you only catch the omission if you're genuinely paying attention. If you're reading between the lines, there's an old interrogation technique. You don't push. You wait. You let silence do the work. People can't handle a vacuum. They fill it. And when they fill it, they surrender. Not because they're weak, but because the psychological pressure of silence exceeds any direct confrontation. That's the power of emotional detachment, of not needing to fill every second, of being comfortable with tension while the other person unravels in it. Elite strategists operate with an invisible advantage: detachment. They're not emotionally attached to the outcome. That doesn't mean they don't care. It means they don't depend. And that difference changes everything. Because when you don't need something, you negotiate from a position of strength. You can refuse. You can wait. You can let the other party reveal desperation while you demonstrate patience. And patience is one of the most underestimated weapons that exists. If this content is helping you, hit the like. It helps the channel continue. What if the mistake isn't what you do, but what you show? You can have the best plan in the world, the sharpest strategy, the deepest resources, and still lose. Not because your plan was flawed, but because you showed too much. Because you leaked a pattern, a preference, a vulnerability, and someone was watching. Someone who understands that in the power game, formation asymmetry is everything. Whoever knows more and reveals less, wins. Most people operate on autopilot. They react, respond, defend, justify, and in each of those reactions, they hand over a piece of the map. They reveal where it hurts. They reveal what matters. They reveal the button that, when pressed, makes them break position. And people trained in behavioral reading know exactly how to press that button. Not because they're evil, but because they understand that whoever loses composure loses advantage. And composure isn't about faking calm. It's about actually being in internal control while chaos erupts around you. There's a lesson from ancient honor codes. The warrior who gets angry first loses first. Not because anger is weakness, but because anger is predictable. And predictability is defeat. When someone knows how to knock you off balance, you became a puppet. Your strings are showing. And every time you react the expected way, you confirm the strings work. The only way out is cutting the strings. And you cut them when you stop reacting. When you choose your response instead of being controlled by the provocation. Here's a practical action. Before responding to anything important, wait. Not 3 seconds, 3 hours, 3 days if necessary. Let the impulse pass. Let the emotion drain. Only then decide. You'll notice that half the things you were going to say didn't need to be said. And what actually needs saying comes out cleaner, more precise, more lethal, because it came from the cold place of strategy, not the hot place of reaction. Why real power is always underestimated. There's a type of person everyone underestimates, who goes unnoticed, who doesn't draw attention, and that's exactly why they accumulate more power than anyone in the room. Because while everyone's measuring each other by the noise they make, this person is measuring by the silence they keep. While everyone competes for immediate recognition, they're building structures that will last decades. And by the time they're finally noticed, it's too late. The position's already been taken. There's an ancient principle. Never interrupt an enemy while they're making a mistake. That applies to everything. If someone's revealing too much, you don't warn them. If someone's being predictable, you don't correct them. If someone's burning resources on appearance, you don't suggest caution. You simply observe. You store it. You wait. Because every mistake they make is intelligence for you. And accumulated intelligence becomes inevitable advantage. The market rewards those who understand the invisible game, who know that influence isn't about how many people know you, but about how many of the right people take you seriously, who know that wealth isn't about what you display, but about what you control without displaying, who know that authority doesn't come from voice, but from the absence of needing validation. That's the type of mindset that separates those who play the game from those who get played by it. You've probably seen this happen. Someone shouting about success while sinking. Someone flashing achievement while losing control. Someone demanding respect while handing over every card. And in the back of the room, almost invisible. Someone nobody noticed is accumulating everything. No noise, no rush, no need for approval, just executing, just observing, just waiting for the right moment. Because those with real power don't need to announce it. The world figures it out on its own. If this video opened your mind, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next content. Comment which part hit you the hardest.